50 days to go. While we are building up to the Olympics, which is just about around the corner, 18 days, but the Paralympics at this point in time, equally significant if you want to progress as a country on the 28th of August. 50 days to go for the Paralympic Games. And joining me today, a very dear friend of mine, but more importantly, a supporter of the Paralympic cause in India. One of the few, Rahul Todi. Thank you very much for joining me. Yeah, I've asked this question to you 1 million times in private conversations. Now I'm asking you in a public domain. 50 days to go. Why and how? This is not going to be a profitable exercise from year one. Yet, the first time I approached you, in one instant you said, yes, let's support this cause. Why?
No, I think... First, I would say I have palpitations, because 50 days to go, there's a lot of build-up. We will win 35 medals. I think that's the pundits you are predicting.
Between 30 and 35.
30 and 35. So that is the palpitation that is happening, 50 days to go. We've been talking about this for a few days, but it suddenly dawned while sitting and talking to you that it's 50 days to go. And before that, we have the Olympics, where also we are supposed to do the best we've done.
Yes.
So great times for Indian sports, great times for the Indian flag to be flying in Europe. I think we've just won the T20 World Cup, where in Barbados the Indian flag was flown, or the West Indies, so the host was also the US. So, we've won a trophy there. So I think I would, and as far as the association goes, it's part of sports for me. And there are also people, whether they are para, they are women, they are children, whether they are adults, legends. So if you're part of the ecosystem, you have to be in all layers. That's my personal belief. And why not para? I mean, if there is Olympics today, I don't see the para athletes any different. And I met a few of them during our previous interaction before the Tokyo send-off and when we had that press con back in Delhi. Their stories are brilliant, and as I'm getting the profiles of all the people who have qualified, they each have a story to tell. Of course. And I would want to learn from them, and that's that's the project. That's why we are with the para athletes.
I must say here that I heard Rahul's speech in that last event that he just spoke about in Delhi, and it was really heartwarming. Someone who made some key points which touched hearts, and that's what it is all about, because you get it, the sensitivity, you get it, and he did. Can you talk to me about your experience to be part of that event in Delhi, and how inspired did you feel, and how sort of it changed you as a little bit as a person?
It was more than anything, it was very humbling, and you know why? Because we go through our issues every day, which we feel that, somebody said that to me, and my mom didn't do this enough, my dad didn't, he could have done that better, or I could have done this better. And we get depressed about it, we complain about it, and sometimes we even become vindictive about it. And look at these people, they've been disadvantaged at birth or by some circumstance. And when I met them and when I saw them, I didn't interact much. But I could see they were so excited to be there. Basic things like if you address them, and they were so, you could see there on their face. And I recently felt it in my BPL, the Baghini team, the women's Rat Tiger team. They were girls who have come from districts and I was told that, I spoke to them, they said that it took them 45-50 minutes from even the nearest train station to get back. And so it's just a great satisfaction as well when you see them. And their story needs to be told. Because
absolutely, yes.
I think before anybody else's story, their story needs to read, because they've faced difficulties which we can't even fathom,
I will ask this question to your team also, what I'm asking you. One thing is to be hands-off and support. One thing is to get your hands dirty and support. I've asked you this and you've told me multiple times that yes, during the Paralympic Games, yourself and your team, at least members of your team will be there. Can I put that on record?
Oh yes, for sure. I hope all of us are there. All you guys will be there.
Of course we will be there.
So at least, I will be there for sure. I know 3, 4, 5 colleagues would have to
because
be there.
Because that will make a big difference.
Absolutely. And why not? If it's our event, it's our team, I mean, our logo will be in the jersey in some form, and to support India and to experience Olympic. I mean, all of those reasons are there to go to Paris.
And finally, Rahul, two more. One, the whole issue of gender. And I've asked you this, you mentioned the Baghini team. And this kind of makes a difference because in India, if you see the Prime Minister down, the Prime Minister interacted with the Olympic athletes, the cricketers on the same day. And that told me something. That told me that, look, here's a PM who's actually saying cricket and Olympics same day, same way. So it's becoming a multi-nation sort of sport. Paralympics will add to that story, a big layer to that story.
Absolutely. And look, we are a country of 120, 130 crore. We are a large country. You look at England, you look at small countries in Europe, you look at in Australia, or you look at in America. I mean, the sheer size of America, again, from population point, cannot be compared, right? But yet Australia supports so many sports. Yeah. Starting from basketball, baseball, American gridiron, to soccer, to whatnot. I mean, rugby, and now cricket going there. So, I mean, basketball. And Australia, I mean, such a small nation, 25 million people, pretty much Calcutta's day population on a peak day. They support so many sports. They have Australian footy, they have cricket, they have soccer. I mean, their Socceroos women team is going to be world champions, hopefully. And so, I mean, and there were 180,000 people to see a match between China and Socceroos while I was there in Australia. And if you look at, they have rugby league, they have rugby union. Yeah. What a great sporting nation, and 25 million people. So, for us, we are just scratching surfaces. I mean, there is so much opportunity, there is so much scope, and this is, I think, from a normal man or a common man's perspective or a common woman's perspective, it's healthy entertainment, it's wholesome family entertainment, and team bonding, and family bonding.
Final question. Also, you have to wear your hat of being an entrepreneur and a business person. The return on investment, I'm going to ask you this and also your team. You have to check your P&Ls. It's not just charity that you're here for because it's not money to throw. But here the return on investment will be slow. You have to be in this game long term. In fact, are you ready for that?
No, I actually feel that the return on investment could be the quickest. I mean, we have a plan in place. You're part of some of those plans because besides the content, which we will own together with the para athletes, will definitely have not only an Indian appeal but a global appeal.
Of course.
Besides that, I mean, we are doing through athlete, we are doing a lot of training and development centers across the country, starting with Calcutta and then moving to Delhi and Rajasthan. So, I mean, those places, those training centers will also be used by para-athletes and more importantly, the common para-man and the common man as well. Because whatever we are doing, besides sports, developing hardcore sports people, one of the agendas is to promote a healthy lifestyle.
Fantastic.
Right? And COVID has taught us that outdoors is great. People want to come outdoors. So, in all these centers, where it'll be sometimes be city-based, smaller centers, will cater to these people, and they will pay for those services. They will use those services, benefit from them. We've added sports medicine and sports health in our portfolio. We've tied up with Ashish Kaushik and his team, who you know very well.
Just so you know, Ashish Kaushik was the physio of the Indian national team and part of the NCA for the longest time. So they are
including Rahul Patwardhan and Dr. Solid people. They've come on board with us and become partners, not only for cricket, which they are known, but that project or that health science or the sports health will work across verticals and sports. And the larger picture there is that, and we've seen it in many situations, like Formula One. What happens in Formula One today will happen to the car industry later. So whatever is happening in sports today, whether it's physiotherapy, whether it's team bonding, all these originated from sports and sporting communities. So that will benefit the common man. So ROI is there. There is enough money to be made, not only for Shrachi, but for everybody. It's an ecosystem and we'll be part of the ecosystem.
That's the vision. That's the vision that Rahul Todi sort of leading Shrachi Sports with. but it's not simply him. There are plenty of others who are part of this vision as well. I will speak to Poonam, who's again a dear friend of mine, somebody who's been part of this movement from day one, who I've come to know well. I'll speak to Rimo Saha, a para-athlete himself. I'll speak to Amitabh Bhattacharya. So keep watching this broadcast, because we are setting up for the Paralympic Games. 50 days to go. Here's Rahul Todi once again. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Loved your vision.
Go India.
Go India, bleed blue. What's our tagline that Trisha will tell you as well? I think it's Blue Rev. Blue Rev is what we are going with, the Blue Revolution. So hashtag Blue Rev is what we are going with the Olympics and the Paralympics. Thank you very much, Rahul. But on the other side, Poonam. I want to ask Poonam one personal question. I mean, you now have met a Manasi Joshi. You have, in the conclave you referred to, you've met a Deepa Malik in Delhi. You've met a Devendra Jhajharia. Did you feel inspired with their stories? I mean, did they leave any impact on you as a person?
Of course. I think Mr. Devendra Jhajharia, one in particular, and after especially I heard him, I've been following him on social media as well, and his story. It's extremely inspiring what he's done, not just during his time as a para-athlete, but even after that, now that he's supporting in a true sense all these athletes who are coming forward with the grassroots level problems. He understands them. It could be right from the outfit or the kind of equipments that they're being given, the infrastructure for training, the kind of discipline that they're following. I think these are the basic fundamentals to be solved first, and then we go to the second level, which is of putting them out in the world.
You're so right. There's no bath. So, for example, no ramp, no para-friendly toilets. These are absolute essentials which in India continue to lack.
Yes. And they have also given a representation, a face to this entire space, which is also truly inspiring. I think till some time back, a lot of people, including me, would end up sympathizing with them, which is not really the right way to go about it. They are
empathy, not sympathy.
Absolutely. They are just like us. We are all the same. In fact, in some ways, I think they are more motivated mentally and way stronger than us, and therefore they're able to achieve what they are achieving today. One such example who's associated with Shrachi Sports today is Mr. Rimo Saha. He did the Robben Island 15 kilometers swimming with his specially abled self, and this is in South Africa, of course. And we are very, happy with the way he went about it and the way, now he's associated with Shrachi Sports. So perhaps Rimo can also throw some light about his association and his experiences, the kind of things that he went through when he started out his journey as a para-athlete. I think so these are things which have been very, very inspiring, and we have a very, very long way to go. We've just, scratched the surface, and thanks to organizations like Revsportz who are also encouraging and giving this kind of cause proper platform. So, yeah.
I'm glad that we have speakers like her. That was an excellent answer, and sort of gives me a lead into Rimo, because I did have an opportunity to speak to Rimo. So on the other side, it's Rimo Saha and his experience in South Africa. Joining me now is Rimo Saha. Rimo some days back did the 15-kilometer stretch in South Africa between Robben Island and is also planning this rather difficult swim stretch in Poland on the 3rd of August. So let's ask Rimo about that experience of his and the support that he has actually received from Shrachi Sports. Rimo, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Actually, I started my swimming journey since 2004. तो क्या था उस टाइम इतना फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं था फॉर द पैरा प्लेयर्स, एंड आफ्टर दैट मैं दिल्ली कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स के लिए सिलेक्शन हुआ, और 2012 लंदन पैरा ओलंपिक के लिए भी सिलेक्शन मिला था मेरे को. सम हाउ रीज़न आई डिड नॉट कम्पीट. तो उसके बाद मैंने अपना लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस स्विमिंग स्टार्ट किया. 2 महीने पहले मैंने रॉबिन आइलैंड साउथ अफ्रीका में मैंने जाके अपना स्विमिंग ख़त्म किया. तो नियर अबाउट 15 किलोमीटर्स, एंड इट वाज टू मच कोल्ड एक्चुअली. तो उधर मुझे जो सफ़र करना पड़ा पानी में इज़ लॉट्स ऑफ जेली फिश ओवर देयर एंड गाली शार्क और सील था. कभी कभी मैं जब स्विमिंग कर रहा था मेरे नीचे से अचानक
डर नहीं लग रहा था?
बहुत डर तो लगेगा, लेकिन मुझे सामने मुझे अपना इंडिया का मैप दिखाई दे रहा था कि जाके मैं उधर जाके अपना इंडिया का फ्लैग उठाऊं. तो उसके सामने डर की कोई बात ही नहीं है. एक टाइम था, वंस अपॉन अ टाइम, ये नीचे से एक शील गया और मैं अपने पायलट को पूछ रहा था कि क्या गया मेरे नीचे से. तो उन्होंने रिस्पॉन्स किया मुझे कि रिमो जस्ट कीप स्विमिंग. तो मैंने स्विमिंग करता रहा. फिर जब ख़त्म हुआ फिर मैंने अपने पायलट से पूछा कि तुम्हारे सामने से एक 12 to 14 फीट का एक सील गया और उसके तुरंत बाद ही एक छोटा सा गली शार्क भी गया उसका पीछा करते हुए। फिर मैंने तो और कुछ उनसे पूछा नहीं, मैंने अपना स्विमिंग ख़त्म किया और फिर बस अपने रूम पे वापस आ गया।
हमें ये बताइए थोड़ा, बिकॉज हम जानते नहीं है ज़्यादा इस बारे में, इसीलिए पूछ रहे हैं। पहला जो सवाल मैंने पूछा था कि आपको सपोर्ट कितना मिला था, सेकेंडली ये भी बताइए, ये जो आप कह रहे हो पायलट से पूछ रहा था, एग्जैक्ट प्रोसेस के बारे में भी थोड़ा सा बता दीजिए।
जो लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस का जो एक प्रोसेस होता है, जो भी स्विमिंग होता है, ये वाउसा, आई मीन टू से कि वर्ल्ड ओपन वाटर स्विमिंग एसोसिएशन का उनका एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होता है। तो वहाँ पे हमें पहले अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन करना पड़ता है। तो फिर वहाँ से हमें एक गाइड, एक प्रोफार्मा मिलता है कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में इतने चैनल्स है, 7 ओशन का भी एक चैनल है, एक कोई रीजन का एक चैनल है। तो मैंने सजेस्ट किया था रॉबिन आइलैंड के बारे में। तो फिर मैंने वहाँ पे CLDA से, जो वहाँ का जो एसोसिएशन है, केप लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस स्विमिंग एसोसिएशन, वहाँ पे मैंने मेल किया था। तो उन्होंने मुझे रिवर बैक करके फिर मेरे को बोला कि ठीक है कि आप आ सकते हो इधर। तो फिर मैंने दोबारा उनको मेल किया था कि मेरा पायलट कौन है, मुझे कैसे करके अपने एसोसिएशन में अपना फेस, अपना सब कुछ उधर सबमिट करना है। तो उन्होंने पूरा मुझे गाइड किया था। तो एक जो लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस का जो प्रोसेस होता है वो टोटली इज़ डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द पैरा ओलंपिक, क्योंकि ये पैरा स्पोर्ट्स है और ये टोटली एडवेंचर स्पोर्ट्स है। तो ये एडवेंचर्स का स्पोर्ट्स का जो है, ये पूरा सपोर्ट या फिर पूरा जो मतलब जो एक्सपेंसेस होता है, एक्सपेंडिचर जो होता है, वो खुद को करना पड़ता है। इसके लिए कोई गवर्नमेंट या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ये सपोर्ट नहीं करते। तो हमें ये स्पॉन्सरशिप ढूंढना पड़ता है। एंड डिफ़िकल्टीज इज़ कि जाने से पहले भी कभी मेरे को ऐसा हुआ कि जाने से पहले भी मैंने कहीं जगह से मैंने उधार लेके गया हूँ।
तो इस बार आपको कितना सपोर्ट मिला था श्राची स्पोर्ट्स से?
वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। एक्चुअली श्राची स्पोर्ट्स इस बार रॉबिन आइलैंड के लिए मुझे काफ़ी सारा हेल्प किया है फॉर द फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंट के बारे में। और
अभी आप श्राची स्पोर्ट्स ज्वाइन भी कर चुके हो?
जी।
सो वो भी एक बड़ा स्टेप होगा, क्योंकि
बिल्कुल
श्राची स्पोर्ट्स मैंने जो देखा है कि कई सारे एथलीट्स को वो अपने टीम में शामिल भी कर रहे हैं।
एग्जैक्टली। जस्ट बिफोर आई ज्वाइन दिस श्राची स्पोर्ट्स, आई कंप्लीट माई NIS फ्रॉम द साई। तो उसके बाद मैंने श्राची स्पोर्ट्स में एज ए असिस्टेंट कोच स्विमिंग के लिए मैंने ज्वाइन किया है। श्राची स्पोर्ट्स का भी बहुत सारा प्रोजेक्ट आ रहा है जहाँ पे वहाँ पे स्विमिंग पूल है, और काफ़ी जगह पे अभी स्विमिंग पूल धीरे धीरे रेडी भी हो रहा है। तो वहाँ पे जाके मुझे स्विमिंग पूल का स्ट्रक्चर, स्विमिंग पूल में क्या क्या इक्विपमेंट्स चाहिए, वो सब मुझे देखना है।
लास्ट सवाल, नेक्स्ट आप पोलैंड जा रहे हो दोबारा कॉम्पीट करने के लिए, दोबारा एक स्विम करने के लिए, उसके बारे में बताइए।
हाँ, पोलैंड का जो स्विमिंग है ये बहुत ही डिफ़िकल्टीज है, क्योंकि ये बाल्टिक ओशन के ऊपर है और उधर वेदर बहुत ही अनप्रेडिक्टेबल रहता है, क्योंकि पानी बहुत ही ठंडा है और वेदर का मुझे अभी तक फ़िलहाल पता नहीं है, क्योंकि अभी उधर बहुत बारिश हो रहा है और स्टॉर्म होता है एज़ पर दी मेरा जो पायलट मेरे को कहा है। तो फिर ये मेरा एक चैनल है। तो ये मुझे काफ़ी सारे जगह से, वर्ल्ड ओपन वाटर स्विमिंग एसोसिएशन से भी मुझे रिकमेंडेड किया गया है कि अगर आप ये करते हो तो यू विल बी द फर्स्ट इंडियन, कि ये इंडियंस के लिए ये पहला रूट है कि आप इधर स्विमिंग करने जा रहे हो। तो मैंने इसी साल मैंने ये स्विमिंग करने का मैंने फैसला किया।
वाह, जब ओलंपिक चलेगा तो आप रीमो को भी जरूर देखिएगा, क्योंकि 3rd of August एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम, नॉट फार फ्रॉम पेरिस, he will be trying to create a record for India. So all power to him, and that's what I said. I mean, whether it is Paralympic sport, whether it is supporting people with some kind of disability for their own sport, in this case adventure sport, Shrachi Sports is doing an incredible job, and that's what it is all about: empowerment, making it a more viable movement and a more viable ecosystem. Thanks, Rimo. Thank you very much for joining me. Joining me is a very dear friend of mine. I mean, we've done Commonwealth Games together 15 years back, and he's one of India's best marketers, Amitabh Bhattacharya. Amitabh, now that you're sort of doing this actively for Shrachi Sports, how difficult is it to market something like a Paralympics? Or, because when you market cricket, you're part of the Bengal Pro T20, you're doing football, you're doing the Calcutta Football League. The Shrachi bouquet is fantastic. But when it is about Paralympics, using your experience, how tough is it to market something like this?
Boria, I'm not too sure it's a question of tough or easy. I mean, everything comes with its own quota of toughness or how easy the assignment is. I think being associated with the Paralympics movement, I think it's a great honor for Shrachi Group. And unlike selling cricket or football, here we are trying to kind of put forward something which is completely intangible, right? It's not like sponsorship of a regular sport item or a regular sport team. It's much beyond that, because we, as a sports infra company, we feel that it is our responsibility to be associated with these boys and girls, because they are also trying to overcome a lot of their hardships and doing something great for the country. It is our responsibility to support them. So we have Rimo in our team who works for us, who is a para champion, and there are many new champions who are coming up, and we are very hopeful that in the Paris Games we'll have a very good show.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of absolutely there, and that's exactly why I loved Rahul's vision, because when I went and met Rahul, and I'm putting that on record saying, look, maybe the return on investment in this is not as much as you would have gotten in cricket or football. In one instant, he said, but that's not the point. The point is to shape the Indian story. The point is to shape the narrative about India in front of the world, that our athletes deserve this. But having said that, Amitabh, we need to get as a country to where that it is no longer about charity. It is no longer about sympathy. It is about empathy. It is about making change. You need more Shrachi groups, more Shrachi Sports to come forward. Only then can India progress.
I completely agree with you. So therefore you will see that Shrachi has joined the likes of Reliance, they have joined the likes of Tatas, who have come forward for this noble cause, right? And it is which is invisible that drives this movement beyond certain barriers, right? In many other sports, it's transactional. This is far more emotive far more integral for you to be there in the sporting arena.
Final question to you.
Yeah.
Are you there long term? Because clearly the return on investment will not come short term.
This is not a question of return of investment at all, because the benefit which any brand would get from such association, it transcends a lot of transactional issues. I mean, it is something which is beyond just a vanilla transaction that you put in this much amount of money, you get that many amount of banners. It's not like that. It's something far more integral, some more human to support this sport.
Fantastic to hear that. Fantastic to hear that this is not a simple transactional exercise, because if that is the case, then India's Paralympic movement will never progress. And as Amitabh said, as a senior person in the Shrachi group, that this is far beyond. This is a vision. This is a vision that has percolated from Rahul Todi down to everyone in the senior management. And that gives me hope that the Indian Paralympic movement has finally gotten a corporate supporter who are there to make a difference to the cause, and difference not short term but long term. But at the same time, I will still want to say that there should be a time when this becomes a money-making exercise, because only then can the Paralympic movement become profitable, the athletes become stars, they will get brands, they will get endorsements, the larger ecosystem will benefit. That's where we need to get, and that is why people like Amitabh, Rahul, Poonam and the others are so key in the next few years for this transformation to happen. Thank you very much for joining.
Thanks, Boria. Thank you.